Hey everyone, John here. Like from that show? No? Okay, never mind. Anyway, today we're talking about something way more interesting than paper personalities, specifically the wonderful, whimsical world of INFPs. Now, if you're an INFP, you already know you're awesome. And if you're not, well, get ready to meet the friendliest bunch of introverts this side of a library. We're going to break down what makes these guys tick, explore their unique strengths, and maybe, just maybe, uncover a few of their endearing quirks along the way. Prepare to be amazed, or at least mildly entertained. Okay, so first things first, what the heck is an INFP? Well, it's not a secret code, though it sometimes feels that way. INFP stands for Introverted, Intuitive, Feeling, Perceiving. It's one of the 16 personality types identified by the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, which is basically a personality test you take online when you're bored at work. Don't worry, I'm not judging, we've all been there. Now I know what you're thinking. John, that's a lot of big words for a personality type. And you're right, it is. But stick with me here because it's actually pretty cool. You see, each of those 4 letters represents a different aspect of personality. Introverted means, you guessed it, they like their alone time. They recharge their batteries by being alone with their thoughts, a good book, or maybe a cat video marathon. Hey, no judgment here. Intuitive means they're big picture thinkers. They're less focused on the here and now and more interested in ideas, possibilities, and what-ifs. Then we have feeling. This doesn't mean they walk around crying all the time, though they might tear up at a really good commercial. It means they make decisions based on their values and feelings rather than cold, hard logic. And finally, perceiving. These folks are flexible and spontaneous. They like to keep their options open and go with the flow. Put it all together and you've got a personality type that's creative, compassionate, and always up for a good philosophical debate, as long as it doesn't involve too much yelling. One of the things that makes INFPs so special is their strong sense of values. These aren't just some random beliefs they picked up from a fortune cookie. No. These values are deeply ingrained in their souls. They're the guiding principles that shape their decisions, their relationships, and their overall approach to life. Think of it like this. If an INFP's values were a compass, it would always point them in the direction of authenticity, integrity, and making a positive impact on the world. They're drawn to causes they believe in, and they're not afraid to stand up for what they think is right, even if it means going against the grain. This unwavering commitment to their values is what makes INFPs such loyal friends, passionate advocates, and all-around good people. They're the ones who will always have your back, fight for what they believe in, and inspire you to be a better version of yourself. But let's be real. Sometimes their strong values can lead to some, shall we say, interesting situations, like the time my INFP friend refused to eat at a certain fast food restaurant because they disagreed with the company's environmental policies. Hey, I admire the dedication, but a burger's a burger, right? If there's one thing INFPs are known for, besides their love of fuzzy socks and indie music, it's their creativity. These folks are bursting with imagination, and they express it in all sorts of amazing ways. Some INFPs are writers, like William Shakespeare, who poured their souls into words and created some of the greatest works of literature the world has ever known. Others are musicians, like Kurt Cobain, who used their music to connect with people on a deep, emotional level. And still others express their creativity through art, fashion, or even just the way they decorate their apartments. The point is, INFPs see the world a little differently than the rest of us. They find beauty in the everyday, magic in the mundane, and they're not afraid to share it with the world. They're the ones who can turn a blank canvas into a masterpiece, a melody into a heart-wrenching ballad, or a simple conversation into a life-changing experience. So if you ever find yourself feeling uninspired, go hang out with an INFP. Their creativity is contagious, and you never know what kind of awesome adventures you'll have together. Just be prepared for some deep conversations, impromptu poetry slams, and maybe a spontaneous dance party or two. Okay, let's talk about conflict. It's something we all have to deal with at some point in our lives, but for INFPs, it can be a real struggle. They're peacemakers at heart, and the thought of confrontation sends shivers down their spines. Imagine a cute little bunny rabbit suddenly thrown into a den of wolves. That's what conflict feels like to an INFP. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you get the idea. They'd much rather resolve disagreements peacefully, through open communication and understanding. This aversion to conflict can sometimes lead them to avoid difficult conversations or situations altogether. They might bottle up their feelings, hoping the problem will magically disappear on its own. Spoiler alert, it usually doesn't. But hey, let's cut them some slack. It's not that INFPs are afraid to stand up for what they believe in. Remember those strong values we talked about? They're still there, simmering beneath the surface. It's just that they'd prefer to do it in a way that doesn't involve yelling, door slamming, or passive-aggressive post-it notes. So, the next time you're dealing with an INFP, remember to be patient and understanding. They might not always say what's on their mind right away, but with a little gentle encouragement, you can create a safe space for them to open up and share their feelings. And who knows, you might even learn a thing or two about conflict resolution along the way. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for, the fun fact. Did you know that INFPs are often referred to as the dreamers of the Myers-Briggs world? And no, I'm not talking about the kind of dreaming you do after eating too much cheese before bed. INFPs have these incredibly vivid imaginations, and they love to get lost in their own little worlds. They're the ones who can spend hours daydreaming about fantastical creatures, epic adventures, or even just the perfect cup of tea. Now, this daydreaming can be a wonderful thing. It allows them to tap into their creativity, explore new ideas, and escape from the monotony of everyday life. But let's just say it's not always the best strategy for navigating the real world. I mean, picture this, you're walking down the street with your INFP friend, deep in conversation about the meaning of life, when suddenly they bump into a lamppost. Why? Because they were too busy imagining themselves riding a unicorn through a field of rainbows to notice the obstacle in front of them. Hey, it happens to the best of us, right? Okay, maybe not the unicorn part, but you get the idea. So there you have it, folks. A glimpse into the quirky, wonderful world of INFPs. We've explored their unique strengths, their endearing quirks, and maybe even learned a thing or two about ourselves along the way. If you enjoyed learning about INFPs, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you know an INFP, give them a high five, or maybe just a friendly wave from a safe distance. They'll appreciate it, I promise. Keep dreaming, but maybe not too much if you're walking. See you next time.